Hey everybody, how is it going? It is your pal, Sal here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my Cyndi Lauper discography journey. Today we are tackling her second studio album, She's So Unusual. So before we get to, this album, in response to my video of the first one, I want to thank you all for watching, and just in case I can update you on my thoughts on it. It's only been a few days since I first listened to it and uploaded it, but I kind of still feel the same way I did when I first heard it. I think it's a really good, strong debut album. I do like Witness a lot more than I initially did when I first heard the album, but the last song, I think I'm still in the same boat as I was from there. One thing I did learn because of the comments from this video is that I didn't know that Cyndi was part of a group before she went solo. It was very minimal, very teeny tiny thing that, well, I guess, I don't know if it's like teeny tiny, but I didn't know that, so okay. But it was called Blue Angel, and let me be sure I'm getting that name. Yeah, Blue Angel. And what I did learn is that she did have a hand in writing a lot of songs, and she was the front woman for Blue Angel pretty much. But sometimes afterwards, she would go and re-record some of the Blue Angel songs and put them on her albums. So Witness was was a Blue Angel song before it became a Cyndi Lauper song. So I didn't know that before I did all this. So it's kind of cool to learn a little something new. I kind of do wish I had reacted to the Blue Angel album, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe when we finish this, we'll go back and, do that, because we're going forward. We can't go back. But yeah, so that's my thoughts there. So anyways, we're putting all that aside, and we are gonna now move on to her second studio album, True Colors, which was released on September 15th of 1986. It hit number 4 on the Billboard 200 and spawned 5 singles, which included the first single, which was True Colors, a song we all know and love, which hit number 1. The second single was Change a Heart, which hit number 3. The third single was a cover of Marvin Gaye's What's Going On, which hit number 12. The fourth single was Blue Boy, which only hit 71, so it was not as successful as the last singles. And then the fifth and final single was Maybe He'll Know, which was a promo-only single. So today, including bonus tracks, we are going to be listening to 12 songs, 3 of which I have heard. 1, which is True Colors, and I've heard that because of Life and a very specific movie, which I will talk about when we get there. And the 2 other songs are on the set list for the new tour, meaning I have heard them because of that. And one of them I cannot, which is Change a Heart. I honestly cannot remember how that goes at the moment, but I'm sure once I hear it, I'll start to be familiar, but having the lyrics always changes that. And the other one is Iko Iko, which I kind of want to talk about when we get to there. So without further ado, I think we should get started with track number 1 of the album, which is our second single, Change a Heart. And again, one I've heard, but how it goes is not coming through the top of my head. So here we go. I wonder if she could be possibly talking about her gay friend from When You Were Mine. Maybe, we'll see. Okay, now that the chorus sounds familiar. What's really interesting to me right now is that the production, it kind of sounds almost demo-y. Like, it doesn't even sound like it's finished. Like, I don't know, it almost sounds like it's compressed too. I'm listening to the 35th anniversary version on Spotify, but I don't know if this is just me. It just sounds a little compressed. Interesting. I like that ending for it. Well, that's not it. This sound reminds me of a song though, but I can't think of what it is. I don't know if what I'm gonna say is controversial, but I did like this song. So I think, I mean, the premise is pretty good. This man is just, she's waiting for his change of heart. He's, you know, he's fooling around, and she's just waiting for him to change his ways. And so, pretty good. I like that. It's a good, you know, message, like the beginning of the first album opens with, like with money changes everything. But what's interesting to me is that this production, it's weird because like I feel like there's not a lot happening like in the background. It's just that beat kind of repeating itself for most of it. The chorus does have a little more liveliness to it. But I again, hearing this, you know, again, one AirPod, it's a completely different experience. But if you had told me that this was the demo, I think I would have believed you. But I mean, maybe that's also intentional, the minimal sound that's like really going on behind it. But it also reminds me of a song that I can't think of at the top of my head. I just think the choice of, and I don't hate it. Like I also, I wonder if hearing it on vinyl makes it a little bit of a better experience. Because it did sound somewhat compressed, and usually, like, I'm no audiophile by any stretch of the imagination, but usually hearing stuff on Spotify, I'm like, okay, that sounds fine. You know, obviously maybe if you had a CD rip or something, it'd be better or whatnot. But something about this did feel a little like, it was a little compressed. I don't know. I could be crazy. But I did like it. And interesting, though, although it's interesting to me that this was a #3 hit. It's good. I don't know, not my favorite of hers that I've heard. I liked it, so don't get me wrong. I just think the choice of the minimal production is interesting. Track number 2, Maybe He'll Know. Okay. Very opposite of what we just got. That's pretty. Okay. Ooh. Cyndi. Oh, and again, this was our promo-only single. Another interesting with this production is that the vocals feel very echoey, like they're in the background, and the instrumentation is more up front. It's interesting. Okay, this was an interesting track number 2, especially after that first song, which was very 80s, and then this is like a very like 50s doo-wop. What I find interesting is that, so I did pull up this Wikipedia page for it, and again, this was the promo-only single, and it was released in Europe. Specifically, I thought it said the Netherlands. Oh, Billy Joel is apparently in the background of this. Okay. Oh, wow. This is also one of the Blue Angel songs that apparently she is now re-recorded for this. It's an interesting. I don't know how it's going to fit in the scheme of the album because it feels very different from that first song we just heard. But I really enjoyed the vocals on this one were really cute. I think this is the most we've gotten to hear Cyndi be a little more freestyling it a bit with her vocals in there. So that was fun to see her free and wild. I like that. Track number 3, Boy Blue. Okay, now we're back to the 80s sound of it. You're not. Okay. So first of all, we're already getting better vocals than the first album. Yeah, I love that. Wow. That's nice. This part, this pre-chorus reminds me of something too. Or this is like after the chorus. Like, it reminds me of something, but I can't think of what it is. Wow! Oh, Cyndi. That was Boy Blue, and after listening to it, I think that this was a good bridge in between the two songs that we've already gotten. The more 80s sounding first song, and then the more, I would say, well, this doesn't sound like a 50s doo-wop like the last one did, but like the more like, you know, innocent, carefree vibe of it, or at least of the sound of that one. It was a good bridge between the two. As far as I can guess with this song, I think it's about finding like your inner child, your childhood innocence. It seems like the little boy Blue that she's talking about was, you know, put out on his own at a very young age. And sometimes even though maybe you were forced to be an adult too soon, maybe you gotta still find the little boy Blue inside you. That's the vibe I was picking up. I could be dead wrong, but I think that's what I was getting. The big takeaway for this song for me, though, is the vocals. Cyndi is hooting and hollering on this, and it is glorious. So far, the vibe that I'm getting, let me just double check. I think she has more writing credits. Yeah. So, yeah, she has more writing credits on this album than the last one, I believe. And it does seem like she's getting a little more free reign in that regard. One thing I did notice, though, is that this was the fourth single. And it hit 71, which seems about right to me. Like, I would never hear this and think, oh, yeah, this is going to be a hit. So I'm curious as to what else is in here, because so far with this one, it doesn't feel very, very commercial to, well, it's not that it's not commercial, it's just I don't hear like giant success from it. So I'm gonna be curious as to what some of the other options were for singles. But I did like it. It's an interesting way of tackling this subject that I don't think I've heard. You know, I mean, Cyndi's very quirky, so I mean, anyway, she's gonna tackle something, it's gonna be different. But I did like it. Track number 4, we have the iconic hit, True Colors. So here we go. With the sadness, don't be discouraged. Although, you know, hey, you know, it's kind of funny to think that this is placed right after Boy Blue, because, you know, she's telling someone to find, you know, his innocence, and maybe this person's really down on their luck, and she's like, you know, his best friend, and she's saying that she sees his true colors. And especially Boy Blue, it has a color in it. The drums are so beautiful there. Much like our other big hits, what can I truly say about True Colors that probably hasn't already been said, but what a beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous 80s ballad. I don't remember the first time I ever heard it, but I feel like I've known this song for like my whole life, so there is that. Now, there is one thing that I will always associate this song with, and it's featured in a film, a major motion picture, if you will. That is the sequel to a film based on one of my favorite series of all time, and that is Sex and the City 2. This is the Blu-ray remastered set, which is one of my probably prized Blu-ray possessions. But I used to own like the Sex and the City 2 by itself on a DVD, but or on the Blu-ray itself. But so like this is the set right here, and then inside here we have Sex and the City 2. And these are the Blu-rays, even though it's in like a DVD case. But yeah, Sex and the City 2 is like my all-time comfort movie. I know that it's relatively hated, universally panned, No one could ever make me hate that movie. I love Sex and the City too. If like I'm having a bad day, if I put that movie on, my day is so much better. Abu Dhabi do. I mean, just so many things about it. But at the end of the movie, and I'm aware that it's not a good film. Like I get that. But at the end of the movie, like this song plays to try to make it seem like the movie like meant something, even though it like didn't. And like the course of it, you know, we see Miranda, you know, get her new lawyer firm. Samantha finally gets to have sex with that guy on the beach. It's the most bizarre song to play at the back of this of this scenery. But I can't listen to this song without thinking about that. It's the most bizarre choice ever, and I love it. There's also another song on the Sex and the City 2 sound. Fun fact about me is that if I'm ever in the city and I have my AirPods in my ear, I am listening to the Sex and the City soundtracks for the first movie and the second movie. But there is another song on the soundtrack for the second movie that is called Love Is Your Color, which is by Leona Lewis and, what's her name? Jennifer Hudson. And the beginning of it is weirdly similar to how True Color starts, and the song even kind of sounds a little similar. It's a weird choice to put both of those on the soundtrack. But yeah, that's just so I just had to get into a little tangent about Sex and the City too. So True Color's iconic piece of history, music history, and what more can I say? Okay, track number 5, Caught Inside the Storm, which is our first track that is not a single, and also the last track of what would be side A on the vinyl. I do not own the vinyl, as you can see it is not behind me, but probably once I finish filming this video, I'll hop on Discogs and find a cheap copy of it, because I gotta have that in my collection. So here we go, Calm Inside the Storm. That rasp, yes indeed. In this song, I gather she's talking about all of the messiness and craziness that life can be, but apparently these two, when they're together, and when each other is in their life, that's the calm inside the storm of life. That's the vibe I was picking up. I liked it. Yeah, no, I don't think I see this one. Well, maybe more of a single than Boy Blue, but I'm not as into it as I think I'd want to be. Maybe if a couple more listens, I'd really get into it. But I liked it. I don't know, I'm just not in love with it, you know? Track number 6, we have What's Going On, which is the Marvin Gaye cover, which did end up being a big hit for her at number 12. It was in the top 20, so let's hear this one. Her version's already very much slower. Ooh, I like the production here. Oh, is it? I think it was about to transition into Iko Iko. But so yeah, this version is definitely a much more subdued, much more atmospheric production of what's going on, which was really cool to hear. It's interesting though, I pulled up the Wikipedia page and I mentioned that this hit number 12 on the Hot 100, but it was not, this version apparently isn't the one that like hit number 1. I guess it technically is because it just goes by like what the song is, but it was because of club mixes that this hit number 17, and the club mixes were by Shep Pettibone, who did a lot of Madonna stuff too. So I'm curious though, I'm like, how do you, especially with the production like she went through on this, how do you make a club remix out of that? So I'll definitely have to hear that when I get the chance. And apparently the single version, because there's like a regular single version too, I guess that's, or the single version is technically I don't know. But apparently there's an alternate vocal used there as well too. But this is an interesting like take on the song, which again, I haven't heard in a while, but I knew it. I liked it. I liked the atmospheric production of it. I think I probably preferred it over the last song we heard. I felt like it was really telling a story, you know, and it was really building up the atmosphere, and I did appreciate that. Track number 7, we have Iko Iko, which is a classic piece. So here we go. Sitting by the fire. Iko Iko day. Hey now, hey now, hey. Iko Iko day. Okay, that was Iko Iko, and as I said earlier, this is in the set list for the new tour, which is funny because this wasn't a single, but apparently she's a big fan of this one. So I've known this song for, I'm sure I've heard it in many different forms of media, and recently not recently, this was a while ago, but on TikTok it was like reframed, it was like, my bestie and your bestie, sitting by the fire. So when this was on the set list, I was listening to it, and I had no idea that that's what this song was even called. Like, I never knew the title of it. So you learn something new every day, maybe because of Cyndi Lauper herself. So it's a fun one. I'm going to be interested to hear her do this live. I think that'll be really cute. It's originally, I didn't know this, but it's a much covered New Orleans song that tells of a parade collision between two tribes of Mardi Gras Indians and the traditional confrontation. So I did not know any of that about this song, and it's interesting how we've come to my bestie and your bestie. But yeah, it's cool that she did this, and I think if I'm correct, it transitions between. Let me go back real quick. There's like a transition between what's going on in this, which was really cool to hear. Let me hear the end of that. Yeah. Yeah, it transitions to that. That's cute. I like that. Track number 8, The Faraway Nearby. Faraway, I like that vocal. I like that vocal. This was giving like Cyndi Lauper, like country folk song. That's the vibe that I was getting here. I didn't hate it. I don't know if I was loving it. It kind of was giving me, even though it's not exactly like Blue Boy, it kind of reminded me of like a placement of like Blue Boy. It's kind of this whimsical, like, you know, back and forth feeling. Some fun vocals in there. It almost sounds like she's yodeling in some parts, which is really cute. I don't know if it's going to go down as one of my favorites, but it was cool to hear it. Track number 9, which is very properly titled 911. Okay. This is giving me I Kiss You vibes. Okay. Well, that's a funny way to end that. So this one to me kind of sounded like if if Witness and I Kiss You had a baby. Lyrically, I mean, it's definitely giving. I don't know. It just feels like a perfect marriage between the two, in a sense. Tell me, do you? It's just like all these things going wrong in her life, and she's got to dial at 911 because she can't deal with it. She's got to get someone to help her. This is probably, I think, the most campy song that we've had on the album. It's the most, especially because it sounds like those two from the first. It's the one that sounds kind of like it could be on the last album, but since we had those other two, I don't think we would have needed it. And in a weird way, it almost doesn't fit with some of the other songs that I've heard on here, especially because like everything I've kind of heard on this album so far just is kind of like not She's So Unusual, and so this being more of a She's So Unusual sound, it feels a little out of place. I'm happy I heard it, but also thinking about it, I'm like, I think I would rather listen to I Kiss You. So I don't know, we'll see where things go from here with future re-listens. Track number 10, which is the final track of the standard edition of the album, we have One Track Mind. See, this kind of sounds like that, more like 80s like creepiness from the other one. Some other ghost sound. Scary. Okay, that was One Track Mind, and you know, the more I think about it, the more I like it, because I like that the song is about a woman on the prowl. I mean, the One Track Mind, she's got a destination, she's gonna get straight towards it, and you really feel, I don't know what her, I don't know if the goal is a man or what her goal is in this thing, but she's coming for somebody or something, and she's on her way, and she's gonna get there. I liked the like the '80s new wave sound of this. It had like this. It felt like real creepy. I kind of like that. It makes an interesting ending to the album that's been very like light, I would say, for the most part. Well, this album's been kind of a mixed bag in itself, but this wasn't gonna. Would I argue that this was my favorite? Oh no! Wait, where are we going back? We finished. I don't know, but that was an interesting piece. I liked it. Okay, we are officially moving on to bonus tracks. There are only two. This first one, which is titled Heading for the Moon, was a B-side to, I'm not sure which one it was a B-side to actually, but it was later added on to the 35th anniversary edition of the album. So here we go, Heading for the Moon. The production of this is really nice. Okay, first of all, I think it's a little sad that this was a B-side. I think that maybe they chose it because I think it has a similar like sound to the Faraway Nearby, which if we go back to it, like, it's a little more upbeat, but I don't know. I think they're giving off similar vibes in a sense, or even not Come Inside the Storm, but like Boy Blue. I feel like Boy Blue and the Faraway Nearby, and like they kind of have similar like messages or like vibes I feel that I'm getting from them. But this does kind of, I do like this as a finale to the album. Like it's a good closer, and technically on the 35th anniversary edition, it's the second to last track, but the next track is a remix of True Colors. I'm kind of sad this was B-side. I would have probably taken off the Faraway Nearby and slotted in Heading for the Moon, but then I also like this as a finale, so, because you're headed for the moon. I mean, come on. That was really pretty, and some of the vocals on there were really nice, and the production was really lush too, very 80s like 80s like fantasy movie lush. So I admire that. I like that. Okay, we are on track number 12, which is our final track. This is a B-side. Again, I did not write down which song this was attached to, but it's called What a Thrill. And so this was mentioned to me in my comments yesterday. This is actually another song from the Goonies soundtrack, and I've actually never heard, I didn't know there was another like piece that she attached to that soundtrack. It was tacked on as a B-side to one of the songs. So we're putting it here, seeing if maybe it could have been, put on the album, who knows. So this is What a Thrill. So I haven't heard this one, so I'm excited. So another Goonies piece. Okay, very different from Goonies Are Good Enough. Back to the Future. Yeah, this has nothing to do with this album. Okay, that was What a Thrill. Yeah, this is clear that this was not part of the sessions for this album. The rockabilly, rocky sound was cool. I think maybe if I hadn't heard it in the context of this album, maybe I would have liked it a little more. But as of this point, I was just like, oh yeah, this doesn't have anything to do with this. And it's very different though from The Goonies Are Good Enough. Like, how do we go from like that '80s pop to like this '80s like rockabilly? It's interesting. Okay, guys, we have just listened to Cyndi Lauper's second studio album, True Colors, and I'm kind of in a midpoint for this one. I don't want to say that I felt like this was a sophomore slump, because I don't think that that's what many people would agree with. But I won't lie and say that I didn't love this as much as her debut album. It's very clear that she has taken the reins of writing more in this, but it doesn't always translate into the most, well, not that it even necessarily needs to be commercial, but there were a lot of bops on that first album, and you hear Cyndi, like, I think being a little more experimental, and I don't think her experimentalness has been fine-tuned in this album yet. Now, I can't say too much because, like, I haven't obviously gone through the rest of her discography, but I feel like she's on her way to getting that perfect balance of, like, you know, artistry and then still, like, you know, like a good, you know, not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be commercial, but I will say, out of the songs that I knew, I still liked, and I feel like maybe out of the ones that I didn't know, it's hard. None of them are like actually like, none of them are as like prominent in my head as I would say the last ones were from the first few listens. I think that this is an album that truly maybe requires a couple of sit-throughs, because it's definitely, it's not filled with as many bops as the first one is. That's just the case of it. I mean, the only one that I feel is like reminiscent of the first album is 911. And other than that, we have on the standard edition 11 more tracks that are not representative of the first album. I will say that that's really cool that this is a completely different album. I just preferred, and it's not even necessarily that I preferred that first album sound. It felt a little more fine-tuned, you know what I mean? So I think I'm going to need a couple more listens with this one, because I liked what I heard. It's just, I just think maybe I need more repeat listens for it to solidify and really, really, really love it, maybe. Again, Change of Heart, I like. It's just interesting that the production choice makes it sound a little more like unfinished. Still like, but I don't know. I feel like I'm being controversial here. I don't know. One Track Mind is really sticking in my head because I like the creepiness of it. The cover of What's Going On, I think, is really cool. The fact that it's so different from the original and a little more atmospheric. But I'm interested to hear what that single version is, because that'll be truly, truly interesting. I probably, if it were me, what was it? Where is it again? If it were me, I would probably slot off the Faraway Nearby and put in Heading for the Moon. I think Heading for the Moon was probably the prettiest track that I heard. Boy Blue was pretty cute, pretty cute too. And of course the iconic hit True Colors. I don't know. I think I need more time with this. This was not what I thought it was going to be. It almost is interesting because this album feels a little more adult contemporary than the first one. It feels like a transitional piece for Cyndi, which is weird that she's transitioning so quickly into her second album. But yeah, I think I need a couple more listens to get it. I liked it. I just need to I want to love it, and hopefully I can love it. So, what do you guys think of True Colors? Let me know in the comments below. As always, do not forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram at Salvador J. Rocha, Twitter at Sal Says Stuff, and TikTok at SalRocha1. And if all goes well, hopefully you'll see me very soon for my reaction to her third studio album, A Night to Remember. So I will see you guys then. Have an amazing day. Bye.